Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free, it doesn't cost you anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a 9 of Wands. I feel like you have been through an awful lot in your life. I feel like you've just been beaten up by life sometimes. And I don't think you would change that for the world. I think that you are so much stronger because of the challenges, because you're here right now watching this video. Means you've overcome, you've survived, you made it. Okay? So first of all, this card is telling me how incredibly strong you are. And right now, I don't know why you need such strength. I guess the question is, what are we doing with this strength right now? There is an intense connection with your purpose lately. I feel like you've been more focused on your dreams, more focused on the subtle things of life, maybe trying to find the deeper meaning for everything that you've ever been through, but really trying to figure out, okay, what is that pointing me toward, right? What do I feel? What do I want? And how am I going to get it? How am I going to manifest it, right? Let's put this energy into some context. We're going to use a few more cards from the Thoth deck. You are the builder. There we go. Prince of Pentacles. The Tower. Yeah, that makes sense. More fire energy with the Princess of Wands and the Princess of Cups. See, like I said, you're trying to understand what everything is pointing you towards. What is Spirit leading you to? Right. So this is us really focused on our dreams right now. Right. The Princess of Cups. Now, the Princess of Wands, do you feel like some of the things that you've been through in your life, I don't know if in the past you used to think they were your fault or something. They're not. They're not your fault. Oh, look at that. 10 of Pentacles. We are building a vessel to contain our dreams. This is how your dream comes true. Building the vessel for it. If you build it, they will come, right? I don't know if anybody knows that reference. The 8 of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles, Liber energy, justice, adjustment, and the 3 of Pentacles, yeah. So with the adjustment card, I'm kind of feeling because they're the two major arcana cards, we have the Tower and the card of balance and fairness, right? So I wonder if you're feeling like the things that you've been through in your life, maybe at one point you felt like it just wasn't fair, right? That life was somehow, Spirit, God, Goddess, Deity, whatever, was somehow treating you unfairly, right? I think the obstacle here is to realize that you're just being prepared, and it's hard to look at things that way. And I even kind of cringe when I say that, because I don't want us to ever feel like, that we somehow deserve the bad stuff that happens to us. We don't. It's not about deserving or not deserving. But if we look at things as the awful, terrible things that they were, we may get sucked into this kind of pit of depression, right, and sorrow. We can look at the difficulties of our life as things that we've overcome, that they have made us stronger. Wish they didn't happen. I've been through a lot of things in my life too. I wouldn't trade them in for anything. I had a liver transplant 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago now. That experience of being, very, very, very close to death, right? Worst experience of my life. But what I always tell people is that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because that is the worst thing that I've ever had to deal with. So far, of course, I still have more life left. But it's a way of looking at our lives not as victims, right? But as, not even as survivors, you know. I don't know the right word for this yet. But what does not kill us makes us stronger, right? I think that's the basic thing. 9 of Wands there. And you've got now this tremendous surge of ambition where it's almost like you're not taking no BS from anybody. That you're manifesting your dream. You're focused on you. And I think that you're learning. You're all of this history didn't make you an angry person. I don't feel like you're an angry person. I feel maybe you were at some point. We do have that Princess of Wands back there, the Tower card. I feel like you were an angry person. I feel like we're opening up now to this realization that you are strong, you are capable, you are thriving, and we're going to manifest our dream. We're learning where Spirit is leading us. What are we being prepared for? What are we being pointed? What is right here in front of me that I need to look at? Right? This is the fish in the percolator. Right? We're looking for the uncanny. We're looking for the synchronicities. We're open to receiving the messages that Spirit is putting in our environment, putting in our direct line of sight. Sometimes things can be right in front of you and you don't see it, right? Because we're kind of looking through things. We're looking at the future, or we're still looking at the past even. So sometimes we'll miss those things that are right in front of us. And it's those things like my one and only Twin Peaks reference, the fish in the percolator. It's my favorite scene of the whole show. We need to understand that fish is there for a reason. You know, that we're experiencing these things for a reason. The good and the bad. And I think with the Princess of Cups, it's more about those kinds of anomalies in your world. What is there that shouldn't be, right? What stands out? What kind of things are you focused on in your environment? Are you aware? Like if somebody were to put just, I don't know, a random silly little object, an absurd object right in front of you, how long would it take you to notice and kind of laugh at it? You know, if somebody were to put a little fish in your coffee cup, you know, would we see it? Would we get mad at it, right? Or would we try to find the meaning in it, try to find the humor in it even, right? Interesting. Mystery card. Let's not forget about the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is one random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We are just going to set down right here. We're going to put Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay. If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is, put it down in the comments. All right. Spirit's telling me to ask about the stealing. And I think we've had this conversation before. Did you get caught stealing as a child, or maybe even like a teenager or a young adult or something? But I feel like you were a little bit wild when you were younger, you know? And I feel like you got in trouble for something like stealing or something like that. And it kind of turned things around for you. Yeah. And maybe this is bigger than stealing. Maybe that's just the symbol I'm getting. The impression I'm getting is that it was something, I guess, relatively minor, like stealing a candy bar or something. But maybe it was something bigger than that. I don't know if you've been in trouble with the law. But I feel like whatever that was, I feel like it was a turning point for you. It kind of was a wake-up call even. Yeah. And then I feel like you have a hiding place, or I feel like you were hiding for a while. And I don't know what that's about. Spirit's telling me that there was, I don't know what that is. That you were hiding or something. Like for for a long period of time. I don't know if you were lost. Did you get lost when you were a kid? Or I don't know what that's about. Anyway, let's look around at the cards we have. We've got these two major arcana cards, and this is really us trying to look at looking at all the disasters of our life, everything that ever has happened to us, not as somehow we're the victim and life is being unfair, but that, this is built into who I am. These things are within you, right? And there's truth in this card. There's the perception of truth, and there's the speaking of truth. And the Tower card, which is within you, it's down at the bottom of the path of the dove. This can either make your life very, very difficult, or this can empower you. Yeah. This is that energy within you that is either going to really disrupt and interfere with your life, or it's going to give you that intense power and energy and drive. It's the truth that's within you, and you need to speak that truth. You need to let that truth out. Right? Otherwise, this is the thing that that can cause problems in our lives because it's unconscious and it can just rear its ugly head kind of anytime it wants. Right? So we need to get in charge of this thing. Yeah. And I think you are. I think that's what's going on here. I think that's why now we're in this kind of building phase. You're starting to build the vessel to manifest your dream. This is how your dream is coming true. Okay? And the prince of, let's finish. We've got fire and fire. We have just a little bit of water. And the water is really what we're trying to bring down, right? We're trying to find a vessel for it. This water's coming down, and we need to catch it in our vessel, right? So we've got a little bit of water. We don't have any air. The air, I think, is here. With this Libra energy, the justice or adjustment card, this is the hardest part. And then, of course, we have our earth, 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 and earth. We're creating the vessel. Yeah, we're creating the structure, the infrastructure of our life that will contain our dream. Yeah. To me, that's beautiful. This is a real success story, where should we go next? I want to talk about everything. Let's talk about the 10 of Pentacles. It's here in the future. This is our ideal life. This is our best life. And this is, I think, a picture that you have. This is a vision that you have had. I feel like you've written this in a book I almost feel like you've got Spirit showing me a binder. The 3-ring binders. Spirit showed me one of those with all of these pages in it. And I think it's even those laminated pages, where you can kind of. I remember those as a kid, where it was like the plastic sheets, and you'd have to try to shimmy a sheet of paper in there. I can never really do that very well, but I feel like you've got this whole kind of binder full of these plans and all of these I don't know if it's like a collage or like a scrapbook maybe, but I feel like it is your best life. I feel like it is really the vision that you have of what you want and what your dream is. And like any dream, there are a lot of images that we don't know exactly how they fit in yet, So I think that every day you're learning more and more about your dream. The 10 of Pentacles is not a fixed thing. This isn't these stone tablets and the future is just kind of etched into it. No, this is something that is it's just scribbled in pencil, and we can revise it. We can add to it, and you can add more into your binder. You can get more binders if you need them. But this is a real focus on kind of long-term goals. I think with the Princess of Wands back there in the past, you weren't always focused on long-term goals. You were just kind of focused on what I want to do right now is what I'm going to do. Didn't really have goals or plans, right? I remember being that age, and even in my young adult life, in my 20s, man, even in my 30s, I kind of had that idea where I don't care what happens. I'm just going to live for today, live for right now. I was drinking a lot, doing a lot of, impulsive things. And I think you're turning that around. I think you're starting to think long term. You're starting to realize that everything you're doing right now is building this future. And we want this to be the vessel of our dreams, to contain our dreams. So, since everything you're doing right now, every thought, word, and deed, is a seed of karma for the future, why not start doing things to manifest the kind of future we want? Because we can't stop thinking and speaking and doing, so we might as well think, speak, and do, in harmony with our dream, with our vision. We might as well have some intention behind it. Yeah. And I really feel like you're connecting. You're starting to use that kind of impulsive, strong, that real tower energy that you have in you. You're starting to really channel that into this building, right? And the Prince of Pentacles is the builder. This is the one that now shows up every day and does the hard work day in and day out, knowing that we're creating this. And this isn't just money, finances. This isn't just like physical stuff. The earth energy, the pentacles, contain all of the other energies. Contains the air, contains the water, contains the fire. The earth energy, the pentacles literally are the vessel that contain all of the other tarot card elements, right? And all of the other energies in life. Just as, the physical world that we live in, our bodies contain all of the rest of our energies, right? It's just the boundaries that separate my energies from what feels like the rest of you, even though I think we're all kind of one just spectrum of energy. We're just one like glob of energy out here. But it feels like there are boundaries between us, right? Or there should be anyway. But this is the card that shows up every day and keeps building. Knows that it's building this amazing thing that the dream will come to live in. Now, I don't know what your dream is. And I think in some ways you're still learning, too, what your dream is. And that's why the fish in the percolator is so important. We have to continually think about it, feel it, experience it, be open to the synchronicities, be open to the impressions. We have to daydream. We have to night dream. We have to fantasize. We have to use active imagination. Do you keep some spiritual images like by your bed? I feel like you've got some maybe like goddess statues by the bed that I don't know if you say a prayer or something before you fall asleep, or if you gaze at those figures before you fall asleep. If you don't, you should. Something, and I don't know if it's goddess statues or whatever it is, any kind of religious icon or artifact, anything at all, doesn't even have to be a religious thing. Anything that sparks that feeling of holiness in you, right? Anything that has that kind of power for you, or that can bring that feeling to you, put that by your bed. And let that be the last thing you kind of look at before you really fall asleep, and see how that influences your dreams. And be sure to write those dreams down, right? The fish in the percolator is everywhere, and we rarely can focus it. We rarely can remember. So I think in your attempt to really understand where Spirit is directing you and how you are to build this vessel to manifest your dream, we have to start paying attention to the subtleties, right? Look between the leaves. Look at the shadows of things rather than at the things themselves, Look at the darkness behind the camera rather than looking right in the lens or right in the spotlight of the lights, See what's going on between the lines. Yeah, in the shadows, right? Reminds me of that really good show, What We Do in the Shadows. I love that show. I can't wait for another season. The last season was good, but the first couple of seasons were just real nice. Okay, moving to the path of the serpent now. As I do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And it helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Okay? I like to hear from you. I read every comment. I really do. Okay, so we start with the Eight of Pentacles here. And this is a reminder, again, not to rush. We've got all this fiery energy in us, you know. Don't rush into things. Yeah. Also, are you recovering from something right now? I feel like you have either a sprain or a break in a bone or something that kind of you had to stay like in bed, or you couldn't really like move around as you usually do. So I don't know if if it was your leg or your ankle or something. I don't know that you were on bed rest, but I feel like if you moved around, you kind of had to like hop or limp or something, or use a device to help you move. I don't know what that is exactly, but I feel like that's something that is healed, and you're kind of getting back to 100%, but don't push it. Okay? Ease back into your activity level. All right? Follow your doctor's instructions, obviously. I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical reading. But I feel like your energy is recovering. Let's let it accumulate a little bit more and kind of ease back into your full, energy, right? That's kind of an Eight of Pentacles thing here. A little bit of caution, a little bit of taking things slowly, right? I also feel like you maybe were a bit of a picky eater. Maybe now still you are a picky eater. I feel like you were definitely as a kid. I kind of feel like you're opening up to more things now. And to me, that's really an indication that you're opening your mind, you're opening your heart, that we're going through this spiritual transformation, and you want to experience more things that you kind of refuse to like, that you said, no, I'm never going to eat, I don't know, whatever, salad or fish or something. But now I love salad and fish. I was never really a picky eater. I didn't like lima beans, and even to this day, I'm still kind of about the lima beans. But butter beans, I think they're called, right? At least here, I hear people saying butter beans. Makes them sound a lot more appetizing to me. But I feel like you're kind of opening yourself up to more experiences. You're trying to broaden your horizons a little bit. And that, I think, is a really good sign that you are kind of following your spirit. You're not like, I feel like a lot of the time we resist things just because, just to be contrary, or just because we learn that behavior, or somehow it got established in us and we never changed it. But opening ourselves up, expanding our mind, letting go of kind of these prejudices in a way, right? Then we're going to take everything on a case-by-case basis. I'll try the butter beans. Maybe I like them the way you've made them. I don't want any hard and fast rules of my life. I'm never going to eat salad. I'll try it, because different people prepare it different ways and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's a really good indication that we're kind of opening ourselves up. Yeah, I really do. Let's look at the Six of Pentacles here in the position of the environment. This is kind of along the same line. We have a lot of earth energy over here, and in the way of that, of course, is the this Libra energy, the air. The Six of Pentacles is a sense of harmony. This is a sense of really enjoying the variations of life. Really feeling like whatever is happening to us, whatever's coming our way, is just kind of a new experience. It's a fun thing. There's challenges, there's difficulties, but it feels good. Right? It feels good to be pursuing a goal and seeing it manifest, seeing it come together, seeing that we're making progress. Yeah. Seeing that things are starting to harmonize. Things are starting to come together. And to me, this is a feeling like when we're in harmony with spirit, when we're in harmony with ourselves, it feels like good things happen more often. Yeah. It kind of feels like if we have the right kind of mindset, it feels like we're finding dollar bills on the street. We're hitting all the green lights in traffic. We're not fighting with with our siblings or our friends, and there's no bickering going. Everybody's just kind of getting along. The animals aren't fighting. The kids aren't at each other's throat. It's just like everything feels like it's flowing a little bit easier, right? Focus on that. Focus on that light. To me, this is also the feeling of, in the material world, finding those things around you, experiences. For me, I like religious artifacts and icons and stuff. I also like nature, right? So to me, certain things in nature will spark this light, this feeling of holiness. Yeah. Finding those magical moments in the ordinary material world. Yeah. I like finding the fish in the percolator. Yeah. I like the uncanny. And I think that this is something that's important for you too. You're finding those things. It's like, I don't know, you're playing a video game and you know that an object is meant for you to handle when it looks different than the objects around it, right? It's like it's drawn differently or something, or it has a little sparkle to it. Well, that's what this is. This is those things in your world around you that have that little sparkle. You know that you have to do something with those things, right? You know you're meant to go in that direction. And I like that, And to me, that's kind of a message from the universe. It's a message from God, goddess, deity, higher self, guardian angels, ancestors, whatever you want to call it. The difficult thing, I think, for you has always been this idea of fairness. Now, of course, this is a Gemini reading, right? So it makes sense. And this card is also about the extremes, that we're trying to live a kind of balanced life. And I think maybe you had a bit of an extreme life, let's say back in the day, right? And now we're trying to find more balance. We're trying to establish this kind of balance and commitment. We're still prone to extremes. So I'm sure there are still things in your life that you need to kind of slow down on. Here's that Eight of Pentacles again. And I can relate to that too. I can see how that might be true. It's true for a lot of us. I don't think it's anything unique to Gemini. But I think for you, it might be more of a focus right now. This idea that we never truly overcome that tendency. This tower is always going to be within you. We're always going to be prone to going to an extreme in whatever, in unexpected ways even. So life is always a game of like getting back to center, reharmonizing. It's constantly reharmonizing. And we get to that harmony for a second, and then something else we start leaning somewhere else. We got to come back to ourselves, get centered and harmonized again, right? And that's the name of the game. Anytime you get off center, just come back to center. Anytime you get distracted or you get kind of a little bit too focused on something else, just come back to center. Come back to your goals. Come back to your dreams. Come back to whatever it is you're building. Okay? The Three of Pentacles at the end, this is you understanding the process of change on the material plane, on the physical plane. You know what the work is that has to be done, right? You know that it's going to take all of your efforts, blood, sweat, and tears, full commitment. Sometimes we're going to get distracted. Sometimes we're going to get sidetracked. Sometimes we're going to be leaning one way or the other, and we're not going to focus on this all day, every day like we want to. So it's just a matter of like going off to the side, getting distracted, and just recentering. And then just recommitting to that. This is the ideal effort that we're putting into something. There's no other responsibilities. There's nothing else in our life moving us around or pushing us off balance. That's the ideal. That's not the real. That's not the actual world, right? So we bring ourselves back. It's like in breath meditation, if you're trying to focus on your breathing in meditation, right? The ideal is that you are always focused on your breath without exception, for the duration of your meditation, if it's an hour or whatever, right? That's the ideal, that your mind will never waver from that attention. But that rarely happens, So like in meditation, when your thoughts start to wander, you just bring it back to the breath. And that's the name of the game, bringing it back, bringing it back. It wanders off. Bring it back. It's your attention, really, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Let's see what Tiny Bob Ross has for us today. What do we need? If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. What is the connection with hot air balloons? Like the kind with the basket that you can kind of ride around in. Have you done that? Is that something that is significant to you in any way? I feel like there's kind of a fun memory with that. I don't know if you did that for like a birthday or something. Maybe out in wine country or something. Anyway, mystery card. I want more water. I want to see some water to match our 10 of Pentacles. I want a 10 of Cups. Now's your chance. Put it down in the comments if you've got an idea. Here we go. Oh, it's the World card. Interesting. The World card is about balance, right? It's about everything kind of growing in proportion, not leaving anything out, right? Not being too extreme. We want it to be a nice circle, not like an egg shape, or not exaggerated in any particular direction. We want a nice, even, steady growth, right? In this kind of holistic way, all around every aspect of our life, we want to improve it. This is also some earth energy. This is kind of the infinite possibilities. There are, I think, infinite ways for you to manifest your dream. And maybe the idea here with the 8 of Pentacles is, let's not get too caught up in the details, that we end up like not manifesting this vessel of our dreams because it's not absolutely perfect, right? If we have to change our plans, if we have to focus on something else, or if there are variations to it, let's accept that. Let's not be so hyper-focused or fixated on the specifics. The idea here is that we're creating something to manifest the dream. The dream is what's important, right? Your deep soul desire is what's important, not necessarily the container for it. It is important. I mean, we want it to be, waterproof or ship shape or whatever. But it's not the focus. It's not the absolute most important thing. The dream is. What's inside the vessel is what's important. What's inside the cup is what is important, right? Not the cup itself necessarily. It is, but to a lesser degree. All right. Doesn't matter where you are, but what you're doing, who you're doing it with, right? Shout out to Dave Matthews. We're going to do an extended reading too. If you want to stick around, click on the link up here, or there's one down in the video description. New readings for Gemini are every Monday and Friday. But I'm here every day. Just come back, see me again tomorrow, okay? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay? I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.